Good afternoon, Merry Miamians. I am Molly Young from the Miami University Alumni Association, and today we have a very special holiday edition of Miami University Alumni Association Miami Presents Cooking with Nancy, Healthy Holiday Snacking. So joining us for today's demonstration is Nancy and her dream team of nutrition and dietetics students. But just to let you know, she is like the chief of staff here. And Nancy is a registered dietitian nutritionist. And she has this great group of students here to join us here on location in Phillips Hall. So Nancy has a multitude of letters behind her name: MS, RDN, CD, LD, and often known as Nancy the Nutrition Nut, which is like the best nickname ever. Is a registered dietitian and nutritionist and associate clinical lecturer in the Department of Kinesiology, Nutrition, and Health within Miami's College of Education, Health, and Society. Nancy received her BA in Food and Nutrition from Bluffton University, completed graduate dietetics program coursework here at Miami, and received her MS in Nutrition from Ball State University. She's also widely known around the Miami and Oxford community for her service work. So, Nancy, we're happy to have you, and I'm going to let you introduce your students, but just want to let you know we are so appreciative to be here, seeing and smelling this beautiful work, and I'm going to let you take it away because we've got a lot on the menu.
Well, before you leave, Molly, I want to thank you and your team for coming to videotape us today and present this information. We have a lot of great things to share, but it has been a pleasure working with you, and so I'd like to present you with this Miami apron.
Nancy!
And you can put it on right now while I put my apron on.
Thank you, Nancy.
And we're talking about memory. So this is a new memory.
This is a new memory,
This
and
is a
it's
new memory.
holiday red also, so like two birds, one stone.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Nancy. All right, well, take it away.
All right.
I will cherish this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so I actually have my apron on that my mother made for me when I was in junior high. So she actually taught me a lot of that I know and a lot that I share with my current students. So this is my 16th year at Miami University, and it is a privilege to work with my colleagues and my students here at Miami. So today we're going to help you make some memories. We're going to help you share some memories, because that's what the holiday season is about, is making and sharing memories. And we're going to show you how to plan, how to shop, how to prepare, how to share, and then enjoy the recipes that we have for you today. Each recipe that will be introduced by my students, we're going to share a food memory, because that makes it special to them, special to us, and special to you. And then we're going to share a mindful eating connection so we can enjoy our holidays. We're also going to share some nutrition and health information along with our wonderful recipes. But first, I want to share some information with you about the history of the nutrition program at Miami University and what we're currently doing and our future plans in this program. So maybe you did not know this, but our discipline, nutrition and dietetics, our discipline is 100 years old. I think that is fascinating. And it started out as domestic science with paper science and chemistry. And we still have a lot of chemistry today, but in the 1920s, we were domestic sciences in the paper science and chemistry department. In the 1950s, we joined the School of Education, because in our public school system, we needed home economics educators. And I know some of you have taken that role seriously and provided numerous years of education to students across this country. Then the discipline changed its title to Family and Consumer Sciences, and then Life Skills, and then vocational schooling with culinary education, textiles, fashion design. So that family, consumer science, and home economics education encompass a lot of disciplines, and we thank you for your service and your time teaching our students. In the 80s, in changing with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics with that discipline, our professional organization, we started undergraduate dietetic education. So that was in the 80s. We started the undergraduate didactic, meaning all that bookwork, in our field, and that has continued to this day. I am proud to announce in 2017, we also added a master's program with a dietetic internship here at Miami University. And that is just taking our program, the foundations that you helped create, to the next level with a dietetic internship and a master's program in kinesiology, nutrition, and health. And so we work with Kettering Health Network, and our graduate students get clinical nutrition experiences. In the future, we want to add clinical space and nutrition counseling space for undergraduate and graduate students with simulation labs. So we're looking forward to that. Our dietetic internship has a community emphasis, and some of our students have been involved with the National Institute of Health, the NIH, doing research with older adults. And so we're proud to say that we can offer undergraduate and graduate students research opportunities here at Miami. I also want to share with you, and one reason why we are prepared for this today is because since January of 2021, we have produced 17 virtual cooking workshops. 17. Last year I taught food science, and we had lab kits that we sent home, and I made little videos using Quick Go Pro and showed them the ingredients, showed them the equipment, showed them the process, and then the final product. So they could also do the same thing at home and then report back with me with their lab reports. Part of those 17 virtual nutrition workshops, we also had kits, nutritional cooking kits that we created. Over 700 kits have been distributed since last January of 2021. And we have had over 400 participants in those virtual workshops. So even maybe they didn't attend the workshop, but they actually received the kit with recipes, just like you've received recipes today. They received those kits, and we've been able to reach over 400 people with our in the Oxford community and beyond with our workshops. One of our future goals is to update our food science lab and design a community nutrition facility that we can do our culinary demonstrations. And that we are so excited to work with the next generation of nutrition educators and clinicians. If you can't tell my excitement, I don't know what to say. But also, and I know I have a lot of things to say, a lot of things I want to share with you and updates, but I'm also the advisor for the Student Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And it used to be SDA, Student Dietetic Association. And I know some of you were members of the SDA, and I was a member of SDA in 1994. And we did some nutrition education workshops in the community, and we have continued that. One of our charges this year is for our student group, SAND, to be a part of the reopening of the student pantry for Miami University. And we are really excited to help with that initiative with student success. We are addressing in our curriculum, in our research, food equity, food sovereignty, meaning that people, if you want to have a specific type of food according to your heritage, you should be able to have that food. Food equity, if you want to start a restaurant or any type of food business, you get equal access to funding, to location for your business. And we're also interested in healthy food access for everybody. So we are happy to be here today, and we are actually going to make some quinoa breakfast bites, mango smoothie, and we have some caprese kebabs, rosemary stuffed dates, And we have a cucumber sandwich, a delicious little cucumber sandwich, and some roasted rosemary cashews. We have a charcuterie board, and then some chocolate date peppermint balls, and then our surprise cupcakes. So our first student today is Nathan Haltman. And I have Nathan in 102, Fundamentals of Nutrition. And Nathan, you're going to talk to us about the importance of breakfast and some holiday memories.
Yes, thank you, Professor Parkinson, and thank you all for just being here. It's a pleasure just to share some memories, share some recipes, and really just gear up for the holiday season. I'm very excited, and one of the reasons that I'm so excited just to even share this recipe is just that I think of the holidays, I think of going home, being with family and friends, and one of the best things to do when I'm back home with family and friends is just to share a great meal. One of the ways that I get to do this is making meals with families and friends, and one of the things that my family loves to do is just to enjoy an omelet during the holiday season. And the way that I'm going to tie that in a little bit, we're making quinoa egg muffins this morning, or this afternoon. And with that, it's kind of like a mini omelet that you get to enjoy all these different ingredients and you get to throw in. And they can last you the day of, a few weeks, or even a few months, depending on how you would like to store them. So with that, I also wanted to share a few of the mindfulness components that I've found with breakfast and just some of the things that these foods have to offer us. And first, starting with breakfast, as you've all heard, it's the most important meal of the day. The reason that breakfast is so important for us is that it really prepares us for the day by giving us energy and just helping to keep us full, whether you're going to school, going to work, going to the gym. It's just giving you the energy that you need to function and just to help your brain work through the day. And what's so cool about what we're adding in today, we're going to have about 5 ingredients. We're going to be using quinoa today. And a little bit about quinoa, it's an excellent grain, but it's also full of all essential amino acids, making it a complete protein for us. And so mixing that with the eggs and the different ingredients, we have some vegetables, some cheese, some ham here with us this morning to go with our eggs. It's all just going to blend together. It's going to smell wonderful, provide a lot of different flavors and nutrients for us. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about just the eggs, and then we're going to jump into the recipe. And so mixing that quinoa with the eggs is one of my favorite parts because when you look at eggs, it offers such a great balance of nutrients and components to your diet. One of the things that eggs are great for, it's very beneficial for helping to raise your HDL cholesterol. And I know cholesterol can sound kind of scary, but the HDL cholesterol that we have from eggs is so beneficial for helping us and taking out the bad cholesterol that we have in our body. And it's also full of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, as well as omega-3 fatty acids, which are very beneficial for our body. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and just walk us through a little bit of how to make the recipe and what we need. And so to start, we prepared our quinoa about a day or two ahead of time. So right here we have about a 1/4 cup of quinoa. And so the quinoa, it's very easy to cook, very easy to implement into different recipes. And so we're going to start with this and have it prepared and add it to the side. Once you have your quinoa, you're going to want to go ahead and start preheating your oven. So we preheat the oven to about 325. And then once you do that, you're going to take a muffin tin. The muffin tin you're going to spray with the oil of your choice, whichever you feel is the best to add. Once you've done that, you're going to start getting into the rest of the recipe. So what we have with our recipe today, we have 3 eggs, which we've added to this bowl right here. We have a 1/4 cup of ham, a 1/4 cup of our favorite grated cheese, and then we have 1 green onion. And so what we're going to do is, first, by just mixing the eggs, we're going to add in the quinoa and the green onion. So I'm going to start by doing that now. And so we're going to add all of this stuff in, and it's going to be so easy to prepare. You're going to love the recipe. And it just makes for a great appetizer, a great breakfast, a great snack for any time of day. So once you've got the quinoa in, I'm going to go ahead and add our green onions. So like I said, we have about 1 green onion here.
That's adding some nice color.
It is, and it looks and smells so great to smell the vegetables. And you know, to even have green onion, it's so cool. I know you mentioned our farm here at Miami. Green onions is one of the things that we've grown here on the farm. And to be able to use fresh produce is just a wonderful thing when you're cooking at any time. So now we're adding the 1/4 cup of grated cheese here. And then I'm going to add the 1/4 cup of ham. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix this all together just to evenly distribute all of the food. And we want this to bake together very nicely and mix in all the colors. And so once it's all stirred up to your liking, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 1/4 cup scooper We're just going to be adding these to a muffin tray. So it's going to make you about 6 muffins. So it's a great filler for the breakfast, and usually have some to save as well. So got it all mixed up here. So now we're going to take scooper. It's very easy to take. And then all you have to do is just add it one at a time to your muffin tray.
Now the quinoa is actually a seed of a flowering plant, and it has some carbohydrates and some protein, so it's a good mix to regulate your blood sugars.
Yes.
And you can put mushrooms, you can put green peppers in your muffins, and then also, which would utilize leftovers from your refrigerator so you don't reduce food waste.
Yes, absolutely. And really, whatever your favorite foods are to add to an egg or breakfast, it really is a great opportunity. And there are lots of substitutes that you can use if you don't want to have ham, if you're vegetarian, or if you don't do dairy, you can do different mixes of things to add into your recipe.
All right, very good.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so for our next recipe, we're going to have the mango smoothie. And Audrey Bailey is a senior dietetics major, and she is actually the president of our Student Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And she's helped me this semester. Actually, we made 200 kits.
We did.
We did 4 virtual workshops, 4 face-to-face workshops in the community, and it's been an awesome semester educating our Oxford and University community this semester, hasn't it, Audrey?
It really has. It's been so much fun. And I'm going to share a really simple recipe. You can have this for breakfast, which is kind of how we paired it. But one of my favorite memories, actually, is me and my mom used to make smoothies and put them into little popsicle tins and freeze them. This is like a great dessert or something with no added sugar. You can get fun little snowman cutouts and save them, so they're a fun treat for kids, and also just a yummy breakfast. So in here, we already have it prepared, but this is just about 3 cups of mango and about 3 to 4 cups of pineapple orange juice, but you can really do whatever you want, and you just want to blend that in a high-speed blender, and then you can just pour and serve. You can just pour these into a glass. You can add spinach to this if you want, strawberries, protein powder, whatever you would like. It's also a great recipe because it's got tons of vitamin C, which is super important for your immune system. It's got some fiber in there and just some color to your day, which is always a great way to know that you're getting in lots of nutrients.
And we used frozen mangoes, right? But you
Yeah.
could use canned or you could use fresh in your smoothie. And it has the same nutritional content as canned, frozen, even dried, and fresh. So this, like you said, adds nice vitamin C, which is good for wound healing and for the
Definitely.
immune system. So it looks really refreshing. And then you can freeze it in little portions too,
Yes,
to
you
have
can.
it with your quinoa breakfast bites on another day for breakfast.
Yeah.
So once again, we're stressing the importance of breakfast, and then having the quinoa bites and the mango smoothie, that if you prepare it ahead, you can have it for a quick breakfast, but still have that breakfast so you don't overdo it at the end of the day with maybe a bigger meal.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
All right, thanks, Audrey.
You're welcome.
So next we're going to make some caprese kebabs. And we made this recipe, probably like 8 years ago in one of our nutrition and disease prevention management classes. And Olivia is going to share some memories with us and then how she made this quick little appetizer.
Yeah, so these caprese bites are super easy to make. They only have 3 ingredients, and then you can use balsamic to top them. That's optional though. So you just have cherry tomatoes, basil, and mozzarella. And a memory that I have making these with the basil, me and my mom grow basil at home. So it's really fun to make these with ingredients that you get to grow yourself. And then with the mindfulness, they are a great source of antioxidants, which reduce inflammation and prevent cell damage in our bodies. With the holidays being an added source of stress, it's really important to get your antioxidants in. And then the tomatoes also provide vitamin A, vitamin C. They have lycopene, which is their source of antioxidants. The lycopene gives them their red color. And lycopene also is preventative against prostate cancer, so that's an added benefit. The basil also gives us various vitamins and minerals like manganese, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, and then the mozzarella provides vitamin B12, calcium, phosphorus, and then some protein. So they're really easy to make. All you have to do is get your little skewers. I already put the cherry tomato on, and then we just get some basil.
And that
Put
basil's
that-
from the Tower Garden, isn't it, Olivia?
Yes.
That we have here in the lab.
Yeah, so we grew the basil here as well. And then you just put them on like that.
And that's part of mindfulness, is actually growing your own food. And herbs really can spice up any dish that you have, adding some extra nutrients. And I like how you mentioned that lycopene is a phytochemical, and that's the red color in the cherry tomatoes or in tomatoes. So when you add color to any meal or to your plate, you're adding some nutrition and nutrients to that to help fight inflammation. And zinc is really good for
Yes.
inflammation and infection. Yeah, very good.
And then you can put the balsamic on top if you want. So you can just
Now that's a balsamic
that.
glaze. So it's basically balsamic vinegar that has been reduced just with heat on the stove. And so this is a balsamic glaze. So that's a handy little condiment to have. All right, thanks, Olivia.
Thank you.
We're going to have Audrey back, and she's going to share with us how to make rosemary stuffed dates.
Yeah, so these are a super easy recipe. They're great to store in the fridge, take as an appetizer to a holiday treat, and they're a great source of a fat and a carbohydrate, which is going to help stabilize your blood sugar levels, keep you full, satisfied. Yeah, they're really easy. So we have some dates. These are pitted. You can buy pre-pitted dates, which is really nice, but if you don't, just make sure you take out the seed because it's not going to be very yummy. And then we have some cream cheese here that's got some finely diced rosemary. And rosemary is actually really, really great because it helps with alertness, with focus. It's good for cognitive function. And it's also packed with antioxidants, which again, like Olivia talked about, are great for reducing oxidative stress and any free radicals in your body, which is great during the holiday season. So I just packed it with a little spoonful there, and you can just plate them on there like that. They're super easy. This is low-fat cream cheese, so if you're looking for a little bit of a lower fat option, it's got that for you. It's got a little bit of calcium. Cream cheese is actually pretty high in vitamin A, which is super important. Yeah, you just can plate them however you like, pop them in the fridge. They're also a great snack too if you're just in between holiday parties or holiday get-togethers.
And you can make those ahead.
You can.
And I like the sweet savory aspect of it. And the more you finely chop that rosemary, that releases those oils and really gets infused with that cream cheese.
And it smells really good too.
You can use goat cheese too.
Or feta cheese, or if you don't eat dairy, there's lots of dairy-free options that work really well as well.
All right, very good. Thank you. So next we're going to make some cucumber sandwiches. And once again, we have some cream cheese. They actually make vegan cream cheese. So you could have some vegan cream cheese, or this is regular cream cheese. And this is actually a new memory for me, a new recipe. So in my food science class, we actually had family favorites. And last week, one of our students said, my mom makes this, and this sounds really good. And I love cucumbers, so I said, I have to try that recipe. So actually, it's Italian salad dressing. Now it's just the mix. And then I mixed that with 8 ounces of cream cheese. So I just mixed that together, and that's what we have here. And then this handy little tool, isn't this awesome? So I cut the ends off of the cucumber, and then I just took my paring knife and sliced a little bit of the peel off. And what I'm going to do is take this little tool, and I can just make slices like that. Okay? Which is what I have here. Okay? And if I didn't want the Italian dressing, or maybe I didn't have any, you could actually use some ranch dressing. So 1 package of cream cheese and ranch dressing. Or another product that we like is the Knorr vegetable soup mix. So just a vegetable soup mix with cream cheese. That makes a very nice spread. And then everything but the bagel seasoning. This is a go-to. So for bagels, for toast, for avocado toast. So everything but the bagel seasoning, you can just add that right to the cream cheese. Or if you wanted to watch sodium, you can use Mrs. Dash. Any Mrs. Dash combination. I like the Chipotle Southwest Mrs. Dash, but you could add no salt with low sodium with your Mrs. Dash. And so what I'm going to do is take the little party rye, and you can toast this if you wanted to, but I didn't toast it today. And then just put your cream cheese spread on there and add your cucumber. And so I'm going to make a couple more of those. Just spread that on there. You don't need too much. And put cucumber on there. And then these are Melba rounds, Melba toast. I don't think my students even heard of that. They would probably use maybe a bagel chip. So you could do that too. And so we'll put a little cucumber slice there. And we'll make one more to finish out our little platter. Okay. So this was a new recipe, new memory for me with this recipe for my student that I just learned last week. But cucumbers provide some potassium and vitamin C. They also provide some magnesium, which is really good for muscle contractions. And the vitamin C is good for wound healing, for inflammation, and then hydration. So when you add fruits and vegetables, you're adding hydration. And hydration helps you sleep. As we know from one of our alumni, Carmen Meyer, she wrote a book, Eat to Sleep. And she talks about hydration and getting enough sleep. So getting enough sleep also helps you from being stressed over the holidays. And so having your cucumbers will actually help with that, okay? And I'll put this aside. And then I'm going to make another recipe. These are the rosemary roasted cashews. And let's see, probably about 5 years ago, I did a summer workshop. And we also did family favorites. So to ask a high schooler what their family favorite was, we got some good responses. We made soft pretzels that year, and we made these cashew rosemary nuts. And the students said, every time my mom makes these, they run out. So you will love these. And so I'm going to put some dry ingredients. I've got some brown sugar and some salt, some chopped fresh rosemary, and some cayenne pepper. So I'm putting my dry ingredients together, and I'm going to mix that up. Mix that up. Oh, that smells good. Can you smell that? Well, you can't smell it, but I can. Oh, it smells so good. Take that little thing out there. Improvise a little bit there. So I've got my dry ingredients, mixing that together. I had so much fun this semester with my Intro to Food Science class. I was showing them how to make biscuits and chicken pot pie, and we made apple pie. Can you believe that? We talked about different leavening agents. We had a great time this semester. So I've already roasted my cashews, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of melted butter, and I'm just going to stir that around. And then you guessed it, I'm going to add those dry ingredients, just like that. And mix, and that just gets that coated. There you go. That smells so good. And then we're going to add a few to our dish. And then, Brianna, these will be perfect on your charcuterie board that we're going to make next. And actually, last week I turned 61, so I'm so happy that Audrey told me about rosemary, getting focus and helping with your memory, because we have our rosemary stuffed dates and our rosemary cashews, so thank you for that information. And we'll get this out of the way. And then Brianna, you can share with us how you design your charcuterie board.
Sure. All right. Well, first of all, thank you guys for coming on and being interested in what we have to say. So yeah, we're going to be making a charcuterie board. And this is really just a platter with meats, cheeses, fruits, vegetables, you name it, you can have it on this board. And I really like to make it with my family around holidays, social gatherings, and stuff like that. We have a lot of fun making it just because how creative it is. And it's a good way to bring the family together. So first of all, I just want to say that what I really like about a charcuterie board is how customizable it is. You can really pick towards your likings. And that's something that makes it really good around the holidays. And another thing is that you can make a balanced meal or snack. What I mean by that is having a carb, a fat, and a protein. And if you can have these three things on your plate, you're going to have longer energy, more satiety, and just overall a more balanced meal. So one misconception around the holidays is that people think that you should maybe deprive yourself before or after a big meal. But actually, if you can have a balanced snack beforehand, you're going to go into your meal just feeling more in control of your food choices and just less ravenously hungry, so you're not going to be overeating as much. So yeah, the last thing I was going to mention, if you're looking to be on a budget or wanting big cut corners on a charcuterie board specifically, instead of buying blocks of cheeses, you could do a variety pack. You can use leftovers from your week, fruits, vegetables, lunch meat, stuff like that. So those are a couple ways just to save some money when you're doing a charcuterie board. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started. So we have our Ohio cutting board here.
And they make them in any state, so.
And really it's just throwing it together however you want. This is kind of where you get to be creative. And we have one set up here already, but I usually start with the bigger things like the crackers and the meats. So let's see here. So we have our crackers. We'll just go ahead and place them on the board wherever. You have to make it look pretty too. It's kind of part of it. And then we'll go ahead and do some salami. This is where we're getting some protein in, some crackers, or would be the carbs. There's lots of different ways to assemble it for sure. Just this.
You could use turkey, ham.
Yeah, any like lunch meats or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and just put some cheeses on there. And we also have a variety of fruits and vegetables too. So like we have some green peppers, red peppers.
I like the rainbow color of your
Yeah.
peppers. That makes it nice and colorful.
Yep, and more colors, more micronutrients and stuff like that.
Vitamin C
Yeah.
and antioxidants. Some fresh strawberries. I like that. We haven't tried growing strawberries yet on the Tower Garden.
Yeah. And then we have some apples here. And then we also added some chocolates just for the satisfaction factor. Not a problem. And then here in our almonds, we have some good protein and fat. Let's just add a couple to the side right there.
So the combination of protein and carbohydrates really helps to level out those blood sugars so you don't have the spikes in blood sugars or the lows,
Yeah.
which also makes you more pleasant around the holidays.
Yeah. And yeah, that's that. That was just a really quick
Oh, I
small
like
charcuterie
that.
board, but yeah, it comes together really nicely and it tastes delicious. So
Very nice.
yeah.
And next we have Alexa, and she's going to make her chocolate date peppermint balls.
Yes. Hi everybody. So today we're going to kind of transition into more of a dessert of our menu. So here we have our peppermint date balls. And so a memory that I have with my family is this is actually a recipe from my aunt. And she kind of created this recipe a few years ago during the holiday times. And it was always so fun for our younger family members to help ball the dough and dip it in our peppermint. So it's always been such a good memory I have. And we're huge peppermint and chocolate lovers here. So the main ingredient in this dish is dates. And so like Audrey mentioned before with our rosemary stuffed dates is they're super high in fiber. which is super great. And they also are very high in natural sugars, which pairs very well with the cocoa that's also in the dish. And then peppermint. So I actually just learned this recently, but peppermint is great for digestion and induces sleep, and so which is very great after a big holiday meal. So what we got here is we got a fourth of a cup of cocoa, an eighth of a teaspoon of peppermint extract, and then we have some crushed peppermint as well. And you will need a food processor or a high-powered blender, and you will add the cocoa, the dates, the peppermint extract into the blender with a little bit of almond milk to kind of get that dough consistency. And then, like me and my cousins would, we would roll the dough, and which was super fun. And then you can have your choice of leaving them with peppermint or without peppermint, but personally, I like to roll them around in the crushed peppermint here. So just take your ball and just coat the ball with the crushed peppermint. And I find it's a really great light dessert. And again, no added sugars with the high amount of natural sugars in the dates. And I think it pairs very well. So.
And actually, when we crushed the peppermint,
Yes.
that was pretty therapeutic. It was a
It
little bit of a
was.
stress reliever.
Yes.
With the rolling pin, and we put the peppermints in a plastic bag and rolled them and crushed them.
Yeah.
So that was fun to do
It
too.
was.
So I can see how that would have been a fun memory with your cousins and your aunt.
Yeah.
And she came with the peppermints already crushed,
Right. So us kids didn't have to crush out the peppermint ourselves, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. So that's a good source of fiber, and then also, like you said, if you're gluten free,
Right.
and it's a
Good
nice sweet
non-fat recipe as well.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
And we have one more recipe that we will share with you, which is one of my family favorites. They're called surprise cupcakes. And so I have already actually prepared the batter. So this is the chocolate batter. And you could actually use like a cake mix if you wanted to save some time and not get the extra ingredients together. But one thing I wanted to show you, it's two different batters. So we have the chocolate cupcake batter, and I've just lined it with paper liners in a muffin tin. And this recipe actually makes 18 cupcakes. And then in this bowl, I have a third of a cup of sugar, 8 ounces of cream cheese, just a little bit of salt, 1 egg, and then, of course, the chocolate chips. And so what I like to do is once I have my cupcake mixture, I'll just take about a tablespoon and put it in each cupcake. I wanted to show you that process. Just put that in there. Like that. And the cupcake will actually bake around the cheesecake mixture, so you won't need to ice these. So, and then we'll put that in the 350-degree oven, and then here's our final product. And you can see how the chocolate cupcake mixture has baked around the cheesecake. So you basically have chocolate chip cheesecake inside of a chocolate cupcake, which is the surprise. So we have, so we start our day with breakfast with our quinoa bites. So if you've had a good night's sleep and exercise a little bit, have your breakfast. If you want to have a mid-morning, you've got a little craving, so you can have either the caprese kebabs and then our mango smoothie, and we have our rosemary dates. You could snack on those, and maybe for a light lunch, have a cucumber sandwich, and then in the afternoon, you can snack on the rosemary nuts or the charcuterie board that Bree actually put together. And then we have our chocolate date balls, peppermint balls, and then as a little sweet delicacy, we have our surprise cupcakes. So I hope you have enjoyed our presentation today. And so thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please let me know. We do have a handout that we will send everyone with the nutrition information that we discussed. So just thank you for your time. And Molly, This has been really fun.
Oh, Nancy, this has been really fun. And if only we had smell-o-vision for you. I guess we'll find somebody here at the university to work on that. But holy smokes, this is amazing. And I like the versatility of everything too. You can switch up the sandwiches, you can add different flavors, be creative. It's so much fun.
And the different textures, and that's part of mindfulness, is paying attention to planning so you can shop efficiently and then prepare so you can enjoy time with your guests. And while you're eating, pay attention to the different flavors, the fresh, the frozen, the canned, and how it's prepared. And we do have things that are very versatile. Yeah.
Well, when I was here last week and you discussed, prepare ahead of time so you can spend more quality time, that's something I never think about, and I'm sure I'm not the only one here who is just in a harried, frenzied mess more often than not at the holidays. So preparing ahead and using these mindful recipes, and they're so simple too. They're really simple. And just so you know, happy birthday, A.
Oh.
And B, I'm familiar with Melba Toast, and I just recently learned that Melba Toast is actually named after a woman named Melba, who was some sort of aristocrat who liked to complain about things, and complained one morning that her toast was too thick, and so her people flattened the toast, and it there became Melba Toast. So go out and find yourself some Melba Toast or whatever. So students, and I gesture broadly because the students are behind here. Thank you so much. Everybody, I really think that carved out somewhere in your future is at least a cameo appearance on the Food Network for sure. But thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate you spending some time with us and sharing your memories with us so we can make both meals and memories with our families. And just so the viewing audience knows that you can actually come back and cook with Nancy and this dream team of students by visiting alumlc.org/Miami, Ohio in your leisure time or, with your families and revisit this again. So thank you all for joining us today. Happy holidays to you all.
Thank you. Happy
love and
holidays.
honor. Oh, and thank you for the.
You're welcome. You're welcome.